D-Day the 6th of June was the start of Operation Overlord, the Allied plan that is known as the Battle of Normandy. It would see over 150,000 troops from 6 nations land over 5 beaches, codenamed Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno and Sword. This number would include 23,400 airborne troops that were to land in key strategic areas and 225 American 2nd Rangers who landed at Pointe du Hoc to destroy a key coastal battery. Part of the Canadians landing at Juno Beach, involving 21,400 men, advanced further inland than any other Allied landings on D-Day, despite having to land later due to tide requirements. There was thought to be coral that would damage the landing craft, of which most turned out to be seaweed. The seaborne phase of the landings was codenamed Operation Neptune, and it would see 6,939 naval vessels of all types involved. Thousands of landing craft were used on D-Day to transport men, vehicles and materiel to shore. They even had a type landing barge kitchen to cook food for the men. Before the Allied landings, the Armada would rendezvous in the middle of the English Channel, nicknamed Piccadilly Circus, and once complete would set sail for France. Over 3,200 photo reconnaissance sorties were flown to capture imagery of the landing sites and surrounding areas. Alongside this, an appeal for holiday photos on the BBC would see over 10 million photos handed in for study. In order to fuel the vehicles after the landing, they would lay a pipe all the way from the Isle of Wight to northern France codenamed PLUTO, short for pipeline under the ocean. The 3-inch composite pipes were laid using floating drums called conundrums, some very typical British humour. By D-Day, the Americans had shipped over 1.5 million men to the UK. American soldiers not only had smart dress uniforms, but on average earned 4 times more than their British counterparts. They became quite popular with British women, and there would be 70,000 Anglo-American marriages during the war. To lure the Germans into thinking the invasion would take place in the Pas de Calais, Operation Bodyguard would see a fake army stationed in Kent, complete with inflatable vehicles. It was so successful that even after D-Day, Hitler still believed Calais was the real target and kept many forces in reserve. On the eve of D-Day, the Allies had 11,590 aeroplanes at their disposal, outnumbering the Luftwaffe by more than 14 to 1. The German bunkers were called Widerstand nests. This translates to nest of resistance. More fortified examples were called Stützpunkten, loosely translated to strongpoint. There were hundreds across Normandy alone. Allied commandos and engineers would land under the cover of darkness on the Normandy beaches to collect sand samples to check their suitability for the landings. With Hitler's commando order issued in October 1942, they were liable to immediate execution if discovered. The Normandy Bocage, with its sunken lanes and adjoining raised hedgerows, gave the German defenders a tactical advantage, often going undiscovered until it was too late for the Allied units in their sights. Hobart's Funnies, designed by Major General Sir Percy Hobart, they were specifically designed for D-Day and until then were untested in combat. They were known as Armoured Vehicle Royal Engineer and included swimming tanks, carpet layers to help traverse soft sand, flame-throwing tanks, bunker busters, and mine clearers to name a few. The first casualty on the 6th of June was Lieutenant Den Brotheridge, who served with the 2nd Battalion Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry. He landed via glider at Benneville Bridge, now named Pegasus Bridge. He now lies to rest in the church next to the Ronville War Cemetery. The Ox and Bucks were the first Allied unit to land on D-Day and also managed to liberate the first building, Café Gondry, that was run by 2 members of the French resistance. The café has become a major landmark in the area.